We're back again, baby, for a bonus show talking all things New York Jets, and it's time to do it with a spectacular guest, a Heisman Trophy winning quarterback. Jets, AFC East, Jordan Travis, let's roll. Zoinks! It is unequivocally the Super Bowl for New York Jet fans.
Field Yates, baby. Field Gosh darn Yates. Let's bring him on the show.
Come on, people. Connor Rogers is joining the show. What's up, Connor? But Trevor Gosh darn Sycamore, baby, for me, personally, my favorite New York Jet of all time.
Wow, it's great to be on. What an intro that was right there.
Paul, nobody does an intro like you, man.
Paul, you give the best intro of literally any podcast that I've ever done.
I'm gonna lose my gosh darn bananas.
Hey everybody, my name is Paul Austin Jr., a.k.a. Boy Green. I'm the New York Jets digital reporter for Heavy.com, and we've got a special guest joining us here on the program. I mean, this guy's a former number 2 overall pick in the NFL draft, baby. A Pro Bowl, Rookie of the Year, ESPN analyst. So let's bring him here on the program. Robert Griffin III, RG3. Let's bring him on. What's up, brother?
What's up, Boy Green? I like it. That was a great intro, man. I got to take you with me everywhere, man.
I appreciate it. Well, your people, my people. We'll figure that out after the interview, my friend, but I'm available. But with that being said, RG3, actually a quick aside here, okay? I've got one daughter. She's beautiful, Zariah Luna, and there's a chance that I'll have a son. So I kind of want to lay this on you real quick so you can potentially help push it over the goal line, if I may, with my fiance. As a junior, my father, the senior, I told my dad, if I have a son, Paul Austin III, I'm just wondering if the PE3 thing, is that cool? Can I get the blessing? Do you slam on that? Where do you stand there?
Oh, I slam a jamma on it. I like that PE3. Come on now. It flows well. Let's go ahead and get this over the finish line and allow you to have that son so you can make it happen.
Okay, Tatiana, my beautiful fiance, you hear that wherever you are. We will make sure we give this video footage to her. It's the RG3 stamp of approval. And RG3, that's not the only stamp of approval I've appreciated from you. Jordan Travis, the New York Jets selected this young man as the developmental quarterback behind Aaron Rodgers and Tyrod Taylor. My question to you, sir, is why is he the right quarterback for the New York Jets?
Well, he was the right quarterback for any team in the NFL. Having covered him in college, he's a guy that I call a warrior, right? He's going to fight through anything he can to be out there for his teammates, and he's a leader. You take into account everything else he does. As a quarterback, he always throws the appropriate ball. He's giving his receivers chances downfield. He controls the line of scrimmage. He knows how to put the ball in a spot where only his receiver can make a play on it. So he might not have the strongest arm in the world. He might not be the tallest or biggest guy, but he has all the intangibles that you want and the skills to back it up with what he can do when the play isn't there. The reason I think he was great for the Jets is you have Aaron Rodgers there, right? Very strong personality. For that Jets team, he's been a great leader. The guys have all bought into him. You don't want to bring in a young QB who's not going to be able to match that. And I feel like Jordan Travis can. You want him in your building because of his mindset. You want him in your quarterback room because he's faced so much adversity. He didn't start at Florida State at first. He was at Louisville. And for him to go through that process and all of that hardship and was at Florida State when Florida State was not very good, he can handle the New York media and that pressure if he's ever called upon. But I thought it was also great for him because he needs to heal. I want to see him get an opportunity to fully heal and fully be himself. And there's no pressure on him in New York because they've got Aaron Rodgers there. And they've also got my guy, Tyrod Taylor, a very great veteran backup. There's no rush for Jordan Travis. He can take his time, and I think they'll enjoy him when his time comes.
Yeah, this is not the first time I've heard flowers thrown at Jordan Travis for his leadership. Nick Baumgardner of The Athletic said that Jordan Travis has some Jalen Hurts leadership quality to him, and guys will follow him. Yes. It sounds like something you agree with.
Oh, I 100% agree with it. I had Keon Coleman on my podcast. It's dropping today on RG3 and the Ones, and he was raving about Jordan Travis and his leadership ability. To be quite honest, it's like guys were transferring in to go to Florida State because of Jordan Travis.
Wow.
They believe that much in him, and that's a special quality to have. And I think the Jets fans are certainly going to love him, and I think his teammates are going to love him too.
Bring us in that quarterback room, RG3. You've been in a lot of them. You're an NFL guy. You've been in some rooms, pal.
I've been in some rooms.
You've been in some rooms, okay? And us fans on the outside, we don't really know. So putting Jordan Travis in a room with Aaron Rodgers, a four-time NFL guy who has battle scars. He started games. He's been in the league for a decade. What can a guy like Jordan Travis, being in that room purely maybe off of osmosis, let alone whatever work he will put in asking questions and poking and prodding and learning any intel he can, well, how can Jordan Travis benefit from being in a room like that?
No, it's amazing. Like the company that you're around in that room is going to ultimately shape you. When I came into the NFL, put it this way, I had Rex Grossman and Kirk Cousins. Me and Kirk were both rookies at the same time. Rex had played in a Super Bowl, but none of those guys were someone that you would be like, all right, all right, he plays like I do. He plays like I want to play. You know what I'm saying? So for Jordan Travis to come into a room with a multiple-time MVP, who's probably one of the most gifted guys we've ever seen throw a football, see how he goes through his process, take bits and pieces of that and say, all right, this is going to make me great. And then also understand from Tyrod Taylor's position, who he has been mostly a career backup, but he has been in the league for a very long time, learning how to be a pro. He's got two guys that he can take elite skill traits from, and another guy that he can take the team aspect of doing what's best for whoever is playing, and he can apply that to his own game. I think that's the perfect setup. Tyrod plays like he played. I don't want to, put anybody in a box or say they're going to play like a guy, but Tyrod's an athletic guy, who can make plays off schedule. Jordan Travis, an athletic guy who can make plays off schedule. Well, everybody wants to play like A-Rod. If you look around the league, almost everyone's doing the Aaron Rodgers drop now. Everyone's trying to throw like Aaron Rodgers, but he is the one that you say, all right, West Coast offense, getting through my reads, getting the ball out on time, making adjustments at the line of scrimmage in the NFL, which is different than in college. Mm-hmm. He has the best of both worlds. I couldn't think of a better situation for a guy coming off injury who a lot of people believe in. And if you're talking about that Jalen Hurts type leadership, that means he's eventually going to get his opportunity because he's going to will himself to get there. He can't have a better situation for what he's in right now.
I love it. Again, we're speaking with Robert Griffin the freaking third, baby, here on the show. RG, gosh darn 3. He's got the podcast, the ESPN. I mean, this guy is everywhere, baby. And he is gracing us with his presence here on this program. Now, RG3, I'm curious, how much of a steal did the Jets get here? They did trade up in the 5th round to get him, but I think there has to be a factor here of that gruesome injury that he suffered at Florida State, which is unfortunate for Travis because I'm sure he wanted to finish that season. Maybe they're in the college football freaking playoff and there's no injury there, but that's neither here nor there, I suppose. But this is a guy that probably slipped and slid a little bit on the draft because of that injury. So it sounds like that could have been a contributing factor. How much higher do you think he could have been selected without wipe away the injury?
Man, I mean, I don't think you're going as long as they did after the 1st round for a quarterback to be drafted. I also thought that Spencer Rattler was a big steal for the Saints getting him there in the 5th as well. So, I mean, you could make the argument. I know everyone on that Florida State team, everyone in that fan base believes he's a 1st round quarterback. If he hadn't been coming off the injury, which was kind of used as the excuse as to why he dropped, I still think teams or front offices would have tried to find a way to knock him for his height or his size or his arm strength or whatever it may be. If you're asking me, though, I think Jordan Travis 100% should have at a minimum, or should I say at the max, should have been a 2nd round pick. And I think if he would have went into the college football playoff, we'd be having a different conversation because you would have saw him finish the year, say they make a run, say they win the whole thing. He's definitely not getting drafted in the 5th round if he's coming off of a national championship. You saw what it did for Michael Penix Jr. and the Falcons drafting him, even with Kirk Cousins being there. Yeah. Having that strong finish certainly influences decision makers. I think he would have been at a minimum 2nd round pick.
You said that this is this ideal situation for Travis because you have Aaron Rodgers, he's QB1. You have Tyrod Taylor, he's QB2. So there's real no pressure. He just kind of plugs into the room. Yep. What do you think he can be? What is his ceiling at the NFL level? Because he doesn't have to rush onto the field in year 1 and maybe not even in year 2 for that matter. It seems like he's kind of got a long runway here to develop properly and not be rushed on the field.
Yeah, I think it depends on what happens with A-Rod. Okay. If Aaron decides to play 1 year, It's going to be tough, for him to get that opportunity next year, just because he's going to have limited opportunities to get out there on the field. If I'm Jordan Travis, I'm coming into this thing and I'm saying, you know what, I'm going to dominate every day in practice. Every rep I get, I'm going to dominate. I'm going to show the coaches they can trust me. I'm going to master the offense. When I get out there in the preseason, I'm gonna just tear it up. I'm gonna do what I'm supposed to do. Not try to make plays. Mm-hmm. I'm just gonna let the plays come to me. And if he can put that together for 2 full seasons, I think he can give the Jets enough confidence to say, all right, you know what? We might not need to draft a quarterback. We might not need to draft a guy high in the draft, because we have this guy who's here, who the team believes in, the coaches believe in. He's got the skill set that you need to be successful in the NFL, in today's NFL. I think he can do that. I think it's really hard when you have Aaron and Tyrod there to say, all right, Aaron's retiring next year. Jordan Travis is our guy. Yeah. I don't know if they'll be able to do that, but I think if he can, for him, the longer A-Rod plays, the better, because the team will be better. He'll get a better chance to prove that he can be that guy. And I really do believe he can be that guy.
Well, I love it. Well, Robert, let me level with you here. It's been tough on the quarterback Jets thing for quite some time, especially last season. And we were going through Joe Blue, my mailman. Everybody was playing quarterback for the New York Jets. And now they have Tyrod Taylor. And there are some mixed opinions on him as QB2. I freaking love this guy. What? Yeah, I know, which has surprised me. People have pointed at, I guess, the durability stuff and other things. Right. But for me, he just seems like the ideal guy for the Jets, because if Rodgers was in somewhat compromised, I feel really good about our chances with Tyrod coming in there. What was your reaction? How do you feel about him being the next guy in line for the New York Jets as QB2?
Yeah, I mean, I love it. My philosophy, if I'm building a team, right? I'm 34 years old. I got to be honest with you, in case you were wondering, I've never built a team before, right? But I've been around some of the great team builders, Ozzie in Baltimore, Eric DeCosta in Baltimore, watching them and learning from them. I was just talking to DeCosta 2 days ago about like how he put together his draft and like the way that he did that. When you have a quarterback that's your starter, I don't know if you know this or if the people listening to this know this, but the guy who's behind him typically isn't as good, right? That's why one guy's a starter, the other guy's a backup. Sure. So when you have a backup, what can he bring to the table that is different than your starter? And the reason I say that is a lot of teams will try to get the same guy. Hey, we got Aaron Rodgers. We're going to go to Wish, and we're going to get Aaron Rodgers from Wish. We're going to try to get that guy. Right. Well, if Aaron Rodgers is a West Coast guy, doing all the things, making all the reads, doing it like you're supposed to do in the NFL, a couple off-schedule plays, well, the guy behind him is going to do that at a much, much significantly lower rate. Right. So go get a guy that plays a little bit different than your starter. It'll help you in your game planning, and that's what Tyrod is for the Jets. Just to stay on the Jets, he has more off-schedule playmaking ability than Aaron Rodgers does. That means that if you get him out there, and maybe he's lesser here in this area, he's greater in this area. You lean into his strengths. That's going to help you for about 2 to 3 games as teams try to figure out your tendencies. And Tyrod's been good to be on the field to keep teams afloat for 5, 6, 7 games a year. So I would say to the fans, just understand that what you're getting out of Tyrod is you're getting that X factor, and he's a proven guy. He's not going to lose you games, right? Sometimes we get guys that get in, they're super young, they don't have that X quality, that X factor, and then it's like you're losing 43-0, and like nobody wants to see that. So I would say that Tyrod is one of the better backups in the NFL. You can make an argument that he could be a starter if given the chance. I think he would certainly feel that way. But the fans should feel good about him because he can make plays if things aren't there, and that gives you a little bit more on offense as opposed to, what you guys had last year.
All right, well, last one real quick before we get you out of here. Are you going to crown us New York Jets AFC East champion? It has not happened since 2002. I was like 9 years old, for God's sakes, when that was a thing. RG3, can you crown us? Give us a little Dennis Green action. Are you going to crown us? Going to crown us? Jets AFC East champs.
I can't crown you guys. I will say that I'm a big believer in what you guys have been doing this offseason. Okay. All right. I think that Joe Douglas, I call him Will Sasso, by the way, put Joe Douglas and Will Sasso's pictures right next to each other, and I promise you can't tell the difference. So I think he's done a phenomenal job building the roster. This is a Super Bowl roster. My only question going into the draft was, do you guys have Super Bowl depth? That was my issue. 5 of the starters on offense have had season-ending injuries in the last 2 years.
Yes.
They needed some depth. I love the Olu Fashanu pick.
Okay.
You know, I know he's got to learn to play right if he's going to be a swing tackle, but
yes,
with Tyron Smith there having some injuries over the past few years, that's a great security blanket in case you need him to play. And odds are you're going to need him to play. Not speaking injuries on anybody, but I needed that depth. And Malachi Corley, I thought that pick was another great one. They call him the Yak King.
Yes.
If you look at him, he reminds me of Anquan Bolden in the way
what a great call.
In the way that he's built. Right?
Yeah.
Catching the ball. You got Garrett Wilson. You got Mike Williams down the field. This guy can be the one that kind of patrols the middle. I love what they've done. And if they continue to build that Super Bowl depth throughout the offseason, that doesn't mean bringing guys in. It just means getting them reps, right?
Sure.
Because this team is geared up to go try to dethrone the Bills. But the Bills have won 4 in a row. And Miami's had it right there 2 years in a row and kind of let it go. I think this division is going to be electric all year long. But I really believe it's Super Bowl or bust for the Jets. And you got Aaron Rodgers, so it's always Super Bowl or bust.
Yeah, that's right. All the chips in the middle of the table. RG3, I wish we had more time for a cajillion hours. There's no question about it. But we appreciate you taking the time, brother. Hopefully, it was definitely the first time, but hopefully not the last time. A lot of fun, brother.
Definitely not the last time, Boy Green. Keep doing your thing, brother. Appreciate you. Peace out.
All right, there he is. RG3, thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you next time on the channel. Take care.